Hey everybody, Target here. I'd like to look towards the future for a moment here and go over a few changes I would like to see in NHL 15. Obviously, we're still a few months away from actually seeing the game on shelves coming out in September, but the fact of the matter is that the sooner we can get ideas like this out to EA, the more likely some of these changes will actually take place. Now, let me start by saying this isn't your average NHL 15 improvement video. Everybody and their dog are asking for the same things: fewer glitch goals, improved AI, new music, blah blah blah. I hate to break it to you guys, but they work on these things every single year. From game to game, you're guaranteed to see these things change in at least some small way. So I ask, why waste our time? We need to focus on the important features. Some of these suggestions are pretty neat, but some of them are close to genius if I do say so myself. So let's start with some online features. EA made a huge improvement to OTP drop-in games by allowing people to pick their position and readying up at the same time. Before they waited until the shotgun start where people scrambled for position. This resulted in a lot of backing out at this point and never having a 6v6 game. However, this improvement was truly limited. Now you have tons of people popping in and out of games looking for a specific position. With the matchmaking system, those players keep dropping into the exact same game over and over again, but never finding the position they want. My suggestion would solve this problem almost 100%. Simply have pre-lobby lobbies, if you can call it that, where you pick the position that you want to play before you drop in. You could add as many as 5 other players to your mini lobby to play with friends, and then when everybody's ready to drop into a game, it will match you up with players wanting to play the other positions. That way you get a goalie that actually wants to play goalie, and you get a defenseman that actually wants to play defense. It's so simple yet genius. The only issue I see with this is matchmaking search times. A small price to pay for 3 minutes for a game to start just to have everyone back out because they didn't get human goalies. Another problem I have found is finding games at certain times of the day. I have insane problems finding a shootout game to play. It's ridiculous. EA basically made 2 servers for North America, East and West. It'd be really nice if you could change your server from East to West or West to East depending on what you currently play on during those times of the day. The only game mode you can actually change your preferred server in is EASHL club games. Now, being able to change servers could be a slippery slope for EA, and you could end up with European players changing their servers to North American ones so they can find more opponents. Or a North American player with a very poor connection could also cause problems by switching away from their designated server. If there was a way that EA could somehow put a tolerable threshold in place that would allow for stronger connections to actually enjoy the full range of gamers in NHL, it'd be amazing. Another thing that would be better for OTP would be changing the community lobby sizes. Let's say double it. How many times have you sat in those lobbies mashing the A button until you squeak into one of the vacant spots? I know, I've wasted sometimes 5 to 10 minutes at a time trying to get in. That's half of an online game. From my personal experience, I have rarely seen more than 2 lobbies open at once and actually have both of those at 50. Usually this is only going to happen on Friday, Saturday night. Setting them at 100 would actually prevent having to go Street Fighter on your controller. Another area that desperately needs making over is something that a lot of people overlook. Obviously, the main focus of a game is to be functional and work the way it's supposed to, and when dealing with a sports simulation, have to behave as closely to the real thing as possible. On top of functionality, there is something incredibly important to address, and that's presentation. Presentation is the cover to all your product has to offer. Year after year, EA wraps their product in the same packaging, ties the same pretty bow on top, and gives it to the consumer saying, "Here, we completely revamped the game." The average NHL gamer is not a lifer. They'll play multiple games and come back to EA from time to time, more often playing with friends over a couple of beers. To them, they enjoy any extra effort put into presentation. I, too, as an experienced player, can see the real value in presentation and what it can do for the product EA ices every year. These are just a few suggestions in terms of presentation that EA could easily incorporate into the game that would make a world of difference and truly engage an entirely new audience of players. I would start with a ton of additional jerseys, designs, and logos. EA has been using the exact same designs since probably NHL 06. That's ridiculous. 8 years of the same look and customization? It's grown tiresome. In the same realm of creativity, they could bring back the Create an Arenas feature that they had back in the early Millennium games. I'm not sure exactly which one it was in, but there was one. It wasn't anything fancy, but it added the extra depth to that game. And now with EASHL and HUT, the ability to have your arena stand out from the rest would really make the game feel immersive. For creating players, I've continually suggested having the FIFA face builder involved in NHL. There's absolutely no reason why they couldn't do this. The same 20 different faces and 6 different shades of eye and hair color can only go so far before it's all been played out. When it comes to creating teams, one of the things that annoys me the most is when I try to recreate a team color scheme that I have seen somewhere else. You have to try to judge by eye the closest colors possible, but let's be honest, the colors in the creator and how they actually look in the game are completely different. If EA would allow the use of hex codes instead of the palette system they use now, it'd be a game changer in the customization field. For those of you that aren't familiar with what a hex code is a specific 6-digit number, it's a number combined with letters, or not at all, it could be just a number, that represent a specific color on the spectrum. Every single color and shade of that color have a different number. I'd love to be able to replicate my beloved Oilers colors in EHL, but I can't because EA also refuses to update the team color palettes. The Oiler palette is still their old blue and copper. Like, come on. I mean, I'm sure there's other teams out there that have this problem. Another thing that would be fun to see is the ability to create and modify rosters in NHL 15. It is incredibly tiresome to move players using the feature that they have in NHL 14. It takes forever. You also cannot create players at a very high rate of speed if you wanted to add a bunch all at once. If EA would allow you to access and edit their current rosters from a server so you can download them for yourself to your Xbox and PlayStation, it would be incredible. It'd be so easy. EA would just be able to offer some kind of system online where you could access their current rosters or access rosters that you've previously modified and then be able to download them directly to your Xbox. Now, obviously, you couldn't use these rosters for online play, but for those of us that like to do simulations, it'd be a blast to dictate the rosters for more accurate simulation. I'd also like to see that a custom camera actually means something. Right now, they literally aren't custom. They're just another view to see the game from. Hardly custom at all. And get rid of broadcast camera. Does anybody actually use this damn thing? I don't think so. I never used it at all. It's impossible to score. I would also like to see animated scenes for the draft. Interviews, off-ice interaction, etc. It would add an element of the game that is sorely lacking. NBA 2K added it for the Xbox One and PS4, so let's see EA step up their game. In terms of animated scenes, it's time to change the Stanley Cup presentation. The same thing every year. Just saying. One final thing on presentation, time for new commentators. Get rid of Gary Thorne, get rid of Bill Clement. They aren't necessarily bad, but they are well past expiry, especially because I think it's been over 4 years since either of those guys did any voice recordings for the game. Same stupid commentary over and over, stupid comments over and over. Bring back Jim Houston, bring back Craig Simpson, because those two guys rocked the shit out of the commentary. Alright, let's move on to some more interactive areas. We'll start with the EA SHL players. I think that instead of having 2,500 XP for each category, offense, defense, and athleticism, they should set it at a pool of 7,500 XP. That would cover all three. That way, you could decide if you wanted to be a well-balanced player or lean in one direction or the other. Just adds an additional element of creativity. Or they could implement a system not unlike FIFA, where your upgrades are performance-based. Accomplish a certain amount of tasks, and your player will get XP gradually over time. For EA SHL goalies or Be a Pro goalies, there is something that EA has at their disposal that would revolutionize the sports video game industry. I'm talking about Kinect. Imagine actually using your body to stop pucks. Talk about a blast. It would be like playing street hockey with your buddies. I'm all about that. You could even package the game with a makeshift goalie stick that would react with Kinect so that you could have a better grasp on the immersive nature of the game mode. For a Be a Pro, it would be nice if they could include the NHL Combine. The Combine is one place where players get a chance to showcase their athletic capabilities as well as interview with prospective clubs. EA already added the interviews, but it'd be nice to have the physical side too. It would also be great if you could improve your player off-ice, improve your player in off-ice training sessions or on ice in practices instead of only being able to gain XP in game. This would make the game mode much more involved instead of just playing game after game trying to build your player up. There is only so much more to hockey than there is so much more to hockey than playing regular season games. You have to stay in tip-top shape. They could also make it so that if you don't train enough, your gameplay is adversely affected. For Be a GM, EA has done a great job. The game mode is actually really good. It's one of the very few that is really well-rounded. There are only a few different areas to improve. They need to increase the prospect pool depth. Allow there to be sleepers in the draft. It's too easy using the star system because you usually know how far a player will go just based on the draft. The NHL is nothing if not predictable. The path to the pros is not easy. There are ups and downs. Sometimes you get a stud, sometimes you get a dud. It's the nature of the business. They also need to add 2 things. Number 1, be able to offer contract extensions, and 2, include arbitration. Arbitration is where a separate person determines exactly what a player is worth, and both the player and the team will have to live with the decision. This will keep good potential players from sitting all season because they asked for a contract that was too big for their britches. Remember Matt Bolesky? Perfect example. The final element I can suggest is to make the game better would be allowing line changes on the fly. You should be able to shuffle players around during a game based on injuries or game flow without hitting the pause button. Obviously, this isn't a problem for offline modes, but in hot or versus, playing online you only get 1 pause for the game, and typically you want to use that at the end of the game for the timeout, not the first period just to make a small change. Anyway guys, that's it for this one. I hope you like some of the ideas I suggested here. Remember, it is up to you guys to let EA hear your voice. This is just my way of doing it. Do me a favor and share this video like crazy with the guys over at EA. Send it to Rammer himself so he can see what we're doing here. Maybe even get yours truly invited to do some consulting. Wink, wink, nudge, nudge. I don't know. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Follow me on Twitter at TargetOdd18 for more great content. Until next time, I'm Target Audience, and I'll see you out in the ice.